Thank you very much for that introduction. I would like to also thank Global Alliance for giving me the platform to share thoughts. Today we'll be speaking on crisis management and business sustainability, as the topic implies. And the essence of this, my discuss, will be to set the grounds for the importance, or highlight the importance of crisis management in business sustainability. I'm sure many of us have thought about it before, but perhaps we still haven't really pondered fully on the importance. So when we talk about business sustainability, we think of things like cash flow management, we think of human resource, we think of infrastructure, today we think of technology, and so on and so forth. But as you will see in this presentation, many of us do not pay as much attention to crisis management as a tool for business sustainability. So this presentation is geared towards drawing attention to it, especially for those who are in the C-suite, and see how we can elevate this important tool that seems to have gone to the back burner and make it a front burner issue. So let me start with this video.
Here's Michael.
That's you.
Cutting somebody's cheese stick. Look at that big boogie. Now, we must put stickers on there. And then we'll watch him box it and then send it out onto the rack to be served to some unlucky customer that's in need of some snot. Yes, I said snot. Michael is such a great star. Yes, he is. Okay, let's get one. Booty shot, booty shot. Michael, I think we work well together. We should open up our own restaurant. You know how many people would come to it?
You know how long it takes to get shut down?
Less than 24 hours.
Bring it up any day. Better get it today. We won't be here tomorrow.
That's right. Come to our store. We'll give you a lot of love. This cheese stick's pretty lonely over here. I think it needs to be boxed. We'll see who it's going to. It's going on a delivery. Yum. Get the booger sticks out. Sprinkle them with sprinkles so they'll never know that there's snot on it. Booger bread. Our manager is unaware of what we are doing at the moment. She is back in the back, reading a newspaper, like always. While we're up here pounding around, putting snot in people's food. There we go. Now it's ready to be shipped to some unlucky customer. Yes. Well, now it's time to sign off. Goodbye.
Now, how did management of Domino respond to this, to this mischief? One, they could have ignored it, hoping that the controversy would go away. But let's see how management responded.
Hello, I'm Patrick Doyle, president of Domino's USA. Recently, we discovered a video of two Domino's team members who thought that their acts would be a funny YouTube hoax. We sincerely apologize for this incident. We thank members of the online community who quickly alerted us and allowed us to take immediate action. Although the individuals in question claim it's a hoax, we are taking this incredibly seriously. This was an isolated incident in Conover, North Carolina. The two team members have been dismissed and there are felony warrants out for their arrest. The store has been shut down and sanitized from top to bottom. There is nothing more important or sacred to us than our customers' trust.
So that was how the management of Domino responded to that crisis. Now, crisis preparedness is more than an opportunity, and we'll talk about that later on. And it has a lot of competitive advantage, which was the conclusion that was drawn from a PwC Global Crisis Survey in 2019. Cameron Sinclair says, when sustainability is viewed as being a matter of survival for your business, believe you can create massive change. So let's go back to this PwC, I beg your pardon, survey in 2019. Data from it shows that companies that emerge stronger and create competitive advantage in the wake of crisis did 5 things. And as I said, the crisis preparedness was from a survey. This report is from a survey of 4,500 crises taken in 2019. So let's see, what are those things that companies that emerge better? One, they allocate budget for crisis management before it hits. The survey showed that 4 in 10 of those that came out better post-crisis allocated budget to the management of it before it hit. Nearly 39% actually saw their revenue grow as a result of that. So it underscores the importance and the reward for investing proactively in crisis response. Number 2, have a plan and test it. By a margin of almost 54% versus 30%, organizations that had crisis response plan in place fared better post-crisis than those that did not. Those who keep their crisis plan up to date and implement lessons learned are 4 times more likely to come out on top. Number 3, they are the ones that adopt a fact-based approach and do not neglect key stakeholders. So the survey again shows to us that organizations that survived crisis presented accurate information and fact quickly. They also informed their crisis response strategy. This information was then disseminated to key stakeholders and not a select few, considering the needs and interests. Number 4, perform a root cause analysis and follow-up. It also showed that those who ended up in a better place performed a root cause analysis of the crisis, and therefore 8 out of 10 acted on the result. 1/3, which is 33%, made a few changes. A quarter, 24%, defined several projects to be completed, and another quarter, which is another 24%, are taking substantial action. These actions may include risk audits, an environmental scan, or impact analysis. Number 5, the companies that emerged better, they acted as a team and held on to their values even at times of crisis. So the survey showed that crisis may be an opportunity to strengthen internal culture. It presents a good opportunity. On the other hand, the lack of internal harmony can have very damaging or worsening effect on the crisis that is already in place. It showed that a huge majority of companies who self-identify in a better place, that's 93%, including 66 who agreed strongly, confirmed that they acted as a team in response to the crisis that they faced. However, those who are in a worse place, of those who are in a worse place, it said 39% of them only acted as a team. So, what is this? What does it say? Crisis, real or simulated, is an opportunity to galvanize teams. Now, what are the direct impact? What's the direct impact? Or there's several of crisis on business. 1, loss of revenue and sales, reduction in stock value, and we've seen that in many cases. Of course, serious damage to brand equity, from which some businesses have never been able to recover, reputational damage, and then stakeholders' mistrust. Now I'm going to share with you 2 case studies, and they're interrelated, and I'm sure some of you are fully aware of what this is. One is it has to do with Ethiopia Airlines versus the Boeing 737 MAX. Now, what is the analysis? On March 10, 2016, an Ethiopian Airlines flight ET302, which operated a Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft, crashed 6 minutes after takeoff from the Addis Ababa airport. 157 passengers, of which 149 were 157 people, I beg your pardon, of which 149 were passengers and 8 crew members were on board, and there were no survivors. Expectedly, Boeing's shares fell by 12% the following day, a whopping $27 billion. Aviation regulators worldwide grounded the 318 MAX 737 Boeing 737 MAX aircraft indefinitely. And meanwhile, this particular plane model was a bestseller for Boeing in 2073. So, what happened? The response time, press statement, 5 hours after the incident, Ethiopian Airlines, they released a press statement commiserating with the family. The same day, by 5 p.m., another press release showed that the group CEO was at the crash scene, and another statement was released. And yet another statement was released by 6:20 p.m., which was informing people of the course of action and so on and so forth. On the part of Boeing, their response came 2 days later after the crash. For all of the 2019 Boeing posted, as a result, a loss of $636 million after turning over a profit of $10.5 billion in 2018, primarily due to the grounding of MAX Air. For the fourth quarter, Boeing reported another loss of $1 billion after recording a profit of $3.4 in the preceding year. The company also recorded a $2.6 billion charge for estimated potential concessions and other considerations to customers related to the airline, to the company. Now, how do we evaluate the impact of all of this? What did it say? That within a week of the video's upload, sales at Domino's, going back to Domino's chain, in that area that included Conover in North Carolina, fell by 50%, resulting in 600 employees losing their job. In 2019, the Ethiopian flight, we mentioned about that, and we talked about the fact that the MAX 737 was grounded. But let's go to Volkswagen, which had an emission scandal that led to the recalling of millions of cars worldwide. And it cost Volkswagen $4.8 billion. We will know why in the next slide. But let's talk also about business sustainability. And we're not talking about an individual, because most people would think that it's only exclusively related to a corporate organization. We all remember Donald J. Trump, the 45th president of the United States of America. Now, he wanted last year, 2019, he wanted to continue as the president of the country. But one thing was actually his heel, which was the management of the COVID-19 crisis. Because in terms of managing the economy, he was doing very well. Even though he had some of the issues, but the economy was stronger, and so on and so forth. I mean, he had such a huge followership. But because he did not manage a crisis very well, which was the COVID-19 crisis, he was rejected for the second time in office. Albert Einstein puts it like this: in the midst of every crisis lies a great opportunity. So what are the opportunities for business sustainability in terms of managing crisis properly? One, it helps to strengthen stakeholders' trust. It improves brand awareness and equity, of course. and then it gives you an experience over it. Let me share another video with you. So, before, just as I'm rounding up, let me share with you how we handle this in Nigeria, the market that we operate in. First and foremost, we all know that 2020 was a year that the other name of that year was crisis. And rising from it, what we then did was that we ourselves carried out a survey on finding out, statistics in terms of how have corporate organizations responded to crisis, especially from the fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic, which raged. Now, these were our findings, our overview of taxes employed, and we wanted to find an overview of the taxes employed by organizations to manage the crisis. Majority of the respondents are satisfied with their reputation of their businesses, I beg your pardon. However, we found out that only 45% cannot guarantee having in-house expertise to develop and manage crisis management. We also found out that in terms of managing crisis communication, what was the most important thing for businesses and organizations during the pandemic? Was it staff and employee, customers, business continuity, stakeholders, investors, vendors, and so on and so forth? The graph is here for you to see. What it showed us significantly, our findings in the research revealed that most businesses are yet to make significant investments in crisis communication. Of the numbers of the survey, of the total survey sample size, 58% agree that crisis communication is useful in mitigating the effects of COVID-19 on their organizations. But we found out that surprisingly, majority of those who were interviewed or who participated in the survey did not have a crisis action plan in place, and where they did have it in place, it wasn't updated and it wasn't regularly visited. It showed us also that Nigerian businesses are not new to crisis, and this is our conclusion. Majority having had some form of crisis in one form, having had crisis in one form or the other during the course of their existence. A lot of it can also be attributed to the economic situations. It was clear from our survey that majority of business owners are leaving their reputation to chance by disregarding crisis management and excluding it from their corporate strategy. It also showed us that effective crisis preparedness, management, and recovery is hinged on the decision of the senior management and reflects on the confidence of the last employee in the cadre of such management. It also showed us that managing communication delivery effectively during a crisis is imperative to maintaining trust amongst stakeholders, especially the employees. And it showed us finally that businesses that have experienced crisis must therefore take control, must take control of the narrative and lead rather than change the information. We also put in place a video, which was just showing you what we did in our market as advocates of crisis management, preparedness. This video will tell you. So we did, let me say, we did a couple of things. We engaged the media because we took it upon ourselves that haven't realized or the importance of crisis management in business sustainability, that we will become advocates of this management practice, and therefore we are taking it upon ourselves to evangelize, if I can use the word, on the importance of crisis, being crisis prepared. And so we did a couple of things, which included having a press briefing, using the media as our advocates or influencers. We also went out and did a couple of materials which we engaged the various stakeholders in our market. And I'm going to show you a video which was sent round.
At CMC Connect PCW, we take a three-step specialized approach to crisis management: prepare, manage, and recover. Our specialized crisis and issues management service include crisis communications, issues management, stakeholders management, risk and impact assessment, crisis manual development, strategic counsel, crisis response and recovery, and trainings. You need a crisis action plan. Get in touch with us today.
The response has been encouraging, and we see that many more organizations are beginning to take their crisis preparedness a lot more seriously, which is the objective of why we instituted the crisis action plan. There's still a lot more to go, because I guess when many resources are competing, or there are many things competing for the resources, especially in a pandemic or post-pandemic period, people still are a bit wary of expending money on preparing for a crisis. But we believe that it's a journey, and we are working at it, and we hope that in the near future that the statistics from like PwC and like the ones that CMC Connect BCW has undertaken, or the surveys, they would give us far more positive results. Once again, I want to thank Global Alliance for giving me.
At CMC Connect.
So let me end with Phil McGraw's quote. It says, "Don't wait until you are in a crisis to come up with a crisis plan." There cannot even be any bigger truism. Thank you very much for the opportunity.